Hi, it's Jeremy from V3Gun Dogs. As promised, our second video was how to pick a puppy after you've picked your specific breed that you're looking for that works best for you and your situation. Keeping in mind your 4 things that we talked about in the first session, in the first video. To find the breeder that you're most likely going to get a puppy from, definitely make contact with them. They're probably going to have a wait list. Make sure that they know what your intentions are. Most breeders, at least reputable breeders, are going to have a questionnaire that you're going to want to fill out that give them a better sense of what you're looking for, and to make sure that they pick the right dog for you as well. And then we're going to go into that puppy selection. So you're going to see in this puppy selection video some of the tests that we do. You're definitely going to want to try to figure out whether or not you want a male or a female. There's some people that say definitely get a male, it's a better hunting dog. Some people say females are better hunting dogs. It's going to be your preference. Do you plan on breeding the dog? If you're going to breed the dog and have your own litters, then obviously you're going to want a female. Or maybe you just want a male because you want a male in your household. That's something that you're going to have to decide and let the breeder know what you're looking for. It definitely helps with the selection process because you could break the litter down into 2 groups and test the groups separately rather than as a whole pack. And then you're going to go in and test the puppies. So the 4 tests or 5 tests that we're going to be doing is going to be your prey drive, your hunt drive with food. We're going to explain that. You're going to do a stress test, looking to see how the dogs handle stress. You're going to look at the pack mentality of the dog, which dogs are most dominant, least dominant. You're going to want to pick that dog that's kind of in the middle, especially for a first-time hunting dog owner. And then we're going to do that bird intro where we bring a bird out, see which ones hang around the bird, try to get the bird out of the cage. Aren't afraid to walk around with a bird. You'll see a couple clips of a male dog that's going to a hunting home that we were able to find had a lot of prey drive, picked up the quail and walked around with the dead quail and actually possessed it at one point. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Let us know what you think and chime in for the future videos down the road. All right, so we have the litter of puppies outside. They've been out here for quite some time, so they're relaxing, some on the bed. Green puppy's out on her own, doing her own thing here. So that's some stuff I'm also looking at, is where the puppies are situated. We're gonna test them to make sure that when they get older, we don't run into any problems stress-wise, because obviously as they get older, for obedience purposes, they're gonna be placed under stress. Stress could be negative or positive, especially when they're hunting. It could be stuff that they run into. I want to see how they mentally will handle the stress themselves. So the first stress test is going to be me taking the puppy. I'm going to gently flip them over on their back, if she allows me to. While they're on their back, I'm going to hold her down to the ground and see how she handles me holding her to the ground. So right now I'm just watching her face, her paws, how she's handling this whole thing. I'm obviously talking to her too. Not directly, but she hears me talking. She's very calm, relaxed. She's not trying to fight it. She fought a little bit of me flipping her over, but that's just natural. Nobody likes being flipped over. So I'm going to let her get back over on her all 4s here. The next test is me picking her up out of the air. For any dog, it's going to be stressful coming up out of the air. And for some obedience work, we're going to do a lot of table work, a lot of wheelbarrow work, sawhorse work, pallet work. So the dog needs to be comfortable up out of the air under pressure as well. So I'm going to grab the puppy on the scruff where the mother would grab the puppy and move them. And I'm just going to pick them up off the ground, hold them up, watch what they do. Puppy did great. No squirming, no screaming, no crying. So she does great under stress on the ground, up in the air, being held by the scruff. And the last one's going to be flipped over on her back, me holding her here, and how she handles pressure all around her body. So as you can tell from this puppy, she's very level-headed. She knows how to take the pressure and just keeps to herself. She doesn't try to get out of it. So you just saw the test with the first puppy. We're going to do another test here with a puppy that we think might give me some problems, just to show you what the issues we're looking for that might show me that might not be a best dog for a hunting home. So we'll do the same test again. Flip the dog over on his back, her back. Hold the dog with my hands. She actually seems a little bit more calm to the pressure because she's not moving her head a lot. Now I'm just going to flip the dog back over and do the scruff test. Good. And then the last one is flipping it over and holding her in my arms here. And she's actually bear hugging my arm. So the bear hugging right here for me would be her not being completely comfortable, because she wants to hold on to me because she doesn't completely trust me. Not that it's a bad thing, but this might be a dog that sticks closer to you rather than probably ranges out. She's really holding on to my arms really tightly. Okay. How about this part? Oh yeah, shaking like a leaf. You're shaking like a leaf? It's okay. It's okay. All right. All right, so the next test is going to be our hunt test. So basically how I test their hunt ability and how they use their nose and drive to hunt and find food is going to be shaking a can of food, getting them all to smell and understand that there's food inside this can, and then I'm going to just toss it lightly into the grass and see which ones go after the food and try to find their food and eat it. The ones that tend to veer off and not really care too much about it might not have enough drive to want to hunt for themselves, and that's what we're looking for, is that self-hunt. That later on when we train them for hunting, that we can pull back and have them work with us. So I'm going to try to get the puppy's attention to bring them in. Come on. Up, 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 up. Up, 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 up. Come here, Yellow. I'm just going to bring the puppies with me because we have one that's not wanting to play. Come on. All right, so now that I have the majority of the puppies here, I'm going to take the food, let them smell the food, know that there's food over here. They should all be pretty hungry. And I'm just going to toss it in the grass and see which ones hunt for their food and which ones don't. So as of right now, from what I'm looking at, I'm seeing Pink has been very nose ground from the start looking for her food. Once they start figuring it out, I'm sure this is the first time that they've had to do this, but once they start figuring out that they have to use their nose to find their food, they tend to pick it up a lot quicker. So from me looking here, Pink and most likely Teal would be my options from the start. Some of the puppies, as you can tell, are a little bit confused, like Yellow doesn't really understand that there's food down there. I could definitely tell that they're smelling it, but I don't think he understands that he has to go hunt for it. She has to go hunt for her food. But the other thing to keep in mind, as puppies, after some time, they do lose interest in trying to find their food themselves. So you can see which ones tend to veer off and do their own thing, and then the ones that stick around a little bit longer. All right, so the fourth test I'm going to do is the noise test, basically looking to see which dogs react to the noise, which dogs run to it, which dogs run away from it, which dogs kind of stay still and don't really care too much about it. Me personally, I'm looking for the dog isn't afraid of it and runs to it. That will show me that we won't have many issues when it comes to gun shyness and when we introduce gunshot over birds and stuff. So you can use any tool you want other than gunfire or a 22 blank pistol. I like to use stuff like a pot and pan, 2x4s, clapping, anything that kind of gets the dog's attention and is different than a normal squeaky toy or something in the house. So I'm going to use this food bowl and I'm just going to bang it against the fence and watch to see what the dog's reactions are to the noise. So as you can see, there's a couple puppies that kind of just hung out over there. I backed up to draw the noise away from them, and I had 3 puppies that followed me over. I'm going to do it again and see what their reaction is as well. All right, so it's the same 2 puppies that were in it, out of the group of 3 that was following me initially, is the green and the pink. So those would be my pick out of, for the noise test, which ones handled it the best, wasn't afraid of it, and moved with the noise. All right, so the last test, which is probably the most important test, especially for hunting homes, is to see which dog has the ability to want to stay by their game. So I have a couple quail in the bird box there. I'm going to bring the bird box out, and I want to see which ones have prey drive for game. So what I'm looking for is which ones go to the bird box, hang out at the bird box, but most importantly is which ones are going to try to get the bird out of the box, meaning scratching at it, gnawing on it, whatever. You can see that the 2 dogs that are probably the pick so far have been hanging out by the bird box since I put the bird box up against the fence. So I'm going to grab it. It's got 2 quail in it. So right off the bat, I don't know if the other puppies have seen the bird yet, so I'm going to actually pick them up and bring them over here. But we have a small, you have 3 of the puppies that hung out by there that know the bird is in there. So I know Green was here and Green walked away from it. Pink has been here hanging out since she's figured out the birds were in there. And like I said, just to reiterate, I'm looking to see which dog is going to hang out the most and try to paw at it and take the bird out of the box. And we always have to keep in mind they're all puppies, so their attention span is very short and limited. And that's why it's important to try to figure out which ones have the prey drive and want to get that bird out of the box. This portion of the test isn't going to be much longer. I'm going to take a quail out, clip the flight wings off of it so it only is allowed to run, and then I'm going to see which dogs give chase and want to go after the quail. Part of the last test is going to be the bird contact as well. So we're going to be taking this quail, teasing the puppies up with it. I'm going to drop it on the ground and see which ones give chase, want to try to pick it up and walk around with it and aren't afraid of it flapping its wings. I actually took the flight wings off this bird, so all it'll be able to do is run around. Hopefully it doesn't get away from us, but we'll see if we get the dog's attention. Up, 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 up. Hey, hey, hey. So there goes Pink after it. Hopefully that bird doesn't find a way to crawl under the gate. So as a quick synopsis of what we saw here was that Pink and Green got very good glimpse of the bird and they chased after the bird. The other puppies, they saw it was holding in my hand. Bird came down, flapped their wings. Some of the dogs kind of were shocked by the flapping of the wings and kind of stayed back while Green and Pink took off after the bird. Bird didn't stick around too much. But when the bird did pop around, the majority of the dogs did want to stick with it. So just some things I was looking for while the dogs were in the presence of the bird. Next thing that we want to talk about though, making sure you pick the right breeder for what you want within the breed that you're looking for. So if you know you're a hunting home, if you know that you primarily want to hunt, definitely going out and trying to find a breeder that is primarily hunting stock is probably your best interest. Looking at their genetics, there's some things you could look at within their pedigrees, looking at field trial testing, AKC hunt test, NAVDA testing. There's a bunch of other tests out in the western portion of the US like NASTRA, but also looking at what type of pedigrees they have within the AKC, NAVDA, and the stud dog registry. Making sure that all those things line up. You also want to look at the breeders that do genetic testing, such as your hips, eyes, ears, elbows, your cardiac tests, making sure that there's some sort of backing to what they're breeding, making sure it's a healthy dog that you're going to be picking.
All right, so hopefully you found this video helpful. Jeremy went over a lot of tips on how to select your puppy out of a litter. Drop a comment down below if you have any more questions. Reach out to Jeremy directly at V3GunDogs.com or on Instagram or Facebook. As always, hit that like button, hit subscribe. Make sure you hit subscribe because the next video coming out is going to be what to do when you bring that puppy home on day one. Thanks for watching.